crypto nerds, and welcome to another episode of the COINsistent Show, the crypto actuality that actually matters. This week we have a very special guest with us, Evgen Verzun from Hypersphere, a very interesting and innovative crypto project aiming to reward users for renting out their spare computer space. Evgen is a very interesting person, having collaborated with multiple tech companies as well as starting some of his own. Evgen's software, as he's also a computer scientist, has been used by companies from all paths of life, including the US Army during the Iraq War. We also talk about Hypersphere being one of the first crypto projects to have two separate tokens, one a stablecoin to be used within their internal market, and another one, a volatile coin serving as company stock, which users can acquire, invest in, and hopefully see their investment grow. I'm sure you'll find this interview very interesting. Evgen is a very interesting person, a very well-spoken individual, and an extremely interesting project that he's leading with Hypersphere. I hope you like this interview, and as always, I'll see you soon with more of the crypto actuality. Make sure to subscribe, to follow us on Twitter, and I'll see you next time. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Carlos. I'm good. How are you?
All good too. So welcome to the COINsistent Show. For those of you that don't know Evgen, he's a serial entrepreneur and he's a computer scientist. He's designed software that's been used by a variety of pretty big names. One of them, the US Army, which you might have heard of. So
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add about yourself, Evgen?
I would say that my major background is cybersecurity, and all projects connected with this field. And same time, what we are doing, we're solving pretty difficult problems, and what we are doing right now is we think it's the biggest problem for nowadays.
Okay. So just for people that haven't read your white paper, for people that haven't heard about your project, can you explain it in a couple sentences? Can you give us an elevator pitch?
Sure. Basically, Hypersphere is what we are doing is a secure cloud, and basically it's a secure space for people, companies, and robots, which can communicate and exchange information in real time and stay private and secure. It's basically the biggest problem right now is lack of privacy and security in internet. What we see right now in internet, that there is no trust there. People live there, use the services, but they know that they cannot trust any web service. And it's not because they do not trust the company behind it. They do not believe they can protect their privacy. They do not believe they can protect their data. So, and we live in a world where we are with constant fear of someone take our data, our personal information, and can spread the world, and or just use for bad reasons,
Okay. Well, what does your project do to help people feel more secure?
So all our projects, previous one was for specific companies or specific fields solve the problems. For example, make email secure, because right now email can be goes through thousands of relay servers and can be read by anyone in internet, and no one can stop this So we created system which protect and encrypt emails. The same we're doing with messengers. And right now we say, okay, good, we can solve this problem for some specific company or some specific niche. But what we can do for all others, for people, and that's how we start working on platform. And this platform become Hypersphere, whereas we say, let's use military-grade technology from professional telecommunication, which proven used by companies, by governments, and give this technology to people, give technology to companies, and make it independent. And this is why we go into crypto. Basically, it's a way how to keep independence. Because you know what happened with Huawei, right? If your company connected with some country, you can be in trouble because of geopolitics or other reasons. And we think that privacy and security is a thing which should be everywhere, and it should not be connected with politics at all. So for this reason, crypto is the ideal tool to stay global, worldwide, and without any interference.
Okay, so how do you integrate the blockchain into your project? And how do you use a token? Or I know in your case it's a little bit more complicated than just one token. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, talking about that, I guess we need to see what is going on in general, right? Why anyone use a crypto, and what is crypto? Because we have a fiat money, but after golden standard, it's just debt money, right? And it's not kind of real value behind it. It's more debt of the country or debt of the banks behind it. And then we have a Bitcoin and Bitcoin-like currencies. And there is the same question, right? What is the value behind it? And a lot of debates about this. I like last one between Rubini. I don't know who watched this yesterday, and this with CEO BitMEX Arthur Hayes. Did you saw it yesterday in Taipei?
Oh, I didn't see this one.
Yeah, it's you can read it about it. It was really great, and basically two really experienced guys explain it their position, right? One most crypto skeptic guy, right? And he have very great evidence why crypto doesn't work, why it have a problem. So about Arthur Hayes, and he explained that Bitcoin in general, it's most secure thing, and if you see all this robbing, all this hackers attacks, it's more on vulnerable exchanges, right, or vulnerable wallets, but not Bitcoin itself. So it's pretty secure. It's much more secure than banks, which rob it every day. I mean, I talk about card fraud and all other stuff. So kind of we have opportunity to have new global currency, but then we see tons of projects who issue own currency, right?
Controlled by Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. And but you see, if we say that Bitcoin and Bitcoin, like everyone who follow Bitcoin ideology, is a more they're trying to replace payment mechanisms, but problem they can use a token as a way how to pay. In same time, this token is change his price always, and this volatility is sometimes killing this opportunity to use it. And or someone want to use it as a utility value, right, and to pay for some services, but in the same time they connect with the security where is a value change because projects become popular, and you in one day you need to pay 50% more for services only because projects become more popular. It's ridiculous. So kind of idea great, but it a little bit disconnected from real economy things. I mean, it looks like disconnected from real economy. And then everyone say, okay, what we need to do to make it more stable, right? And this year is all about stable coins. And Libra is a great example. They say, okay, we create some pool, right, portfolio of currencies, and it's kind of stable and connect our Libra to this pool.
Well, a bit of a problem with stablecoins, as far as we all saw, it was that no one really started working on stablecoins being used for payments, actually. So no one was transacting in stablecoins, and then as soon as the market started doing well again, everyone outright forgot about stablecoins, and it was like nothing happened.
Yeah, but how much? How many stablecoins right now?
It's a lot of them, and if they're fiat backed, they're pretty much there's nothing going on in there. It's the same system.
Yeah, and but every time when someone want to get paid by crypto or by stable coin, anyway they convert to fiat, and this is biggest problem of crypto because you never pay in crypto itself. In general, you always compare to fiat when you pay it, right? And it was my biggest disappointment when in Silicon Valley, when I go to some Korean restaurant and they say, "Oh, we accept crypto, Bitcoin, Litecoin, everything," and I say, "Okay, how much in Bitcoin?" They, "We don't care about Bitcoin. This is the price, right?"
And the price is $5 and convert it to whatever Bitcoin is.
With this amount, and we don't care about crypto. But this is the biggest problem. Understanding this, we start working on the system which have a connection with real economy. Saying this, we need to understand two things. Big problem when a company or project trying to combine the same things. I mean, utility value and security value in a one token. Okay. And then, yeah, please.
Sorry?
Yeah. I thought you say something. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. It's like you going to Apple store and want to buy iPhone, right? And it costs $9.99, right? And basically $1,000. And but then because of Apple sell a lot of phones, their stock price goes up 3 times. But phones cost the same $1,000, right? It doesn't change. So this is what in real economy means security and utility. It means product shouldn't change the price when a company stocks goes up. And you have a choice. You can buy a product by spending some money, or you can buy a stock. And you buying stock, you want to it goes up, right? But buying a product or service, you want to be stable.
Exactly.
And this is how Hypersphere works. We use a double token economy, and where is we have external currency, which call Hypercoin, which you can convert to fiat, and it has a market value, and it's real security. But for internal exchange, I mean, for using something inside Hypersphere to paying for services, paying for resources, you use utility value with hypermetals. And this disconnection
Can you
between
repeat the name of that one?
hypermetals, it's number of,
Hypermetals.
yeah,
Okay.
it, because it's resource, and we use a hypermetal as a virtual name of resource, but a resource you use, it can be anything. Saying this, we have a situation when coins always have behind itself a value. So we say it's a value-added economy because in real world, everything added value. When you provide services, you create a value, and you put your price because you provide something to people valuable. So when you want to buy hypercoin, you pay real money. It can be any crypto, it can be fiat, but exchanging on hypercoin, basically you have behind a new coin real value.
Yes.
And then when service want to use this coin and user services, user resources in Hypersphere, they convert it to metals. And hypermetals is utility. And because it's utility value and you can pay it for services inside Hypersphere, it's create kind of futures contract, and it's connected to size of resources you want to consume. So it's disconnected with fluctuation of external currency. I guess it's on the fingers it's become a little bit messy explanation. I guess much more interesting really to read white paper. But saying this, we need economy which can collect added value. We need the economy, crypto economy, which have a external currency, which is security, and it can change the price according to the market. It can go up, it can go down. At the same time, inside crypto project, inside this cloud, we have a stable coin which connected to cost of resources, and it can collect added value. In this way, we use all fundamental economic basis to build the crypto economy.
Okay, so you're touching on an interesting point in there. So basically, you have a hypercoin, which is pretty much a stock for your company, which is the one that's volatile, and it's the one that can increase and decrease in price depending on your own performance. I definitely see the value in that one. And then you have hypermetal, which is like an internal stable coin, let's call it that.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of you having an internal stable coin instead of, let's say, using USDT or TUSD or DIAM or whatever?
Okay. Main reason they are connected to fiat. It is nowadays. What is a fiat? Let's think a little bit. Very
Well,
fast.
it's pretty much a contract we have all agreed upon to say that this piece of paper has a certain value.
Right, but I mean, when it's funny, you're absolutely right. We go in there and we say, what is the economy right now? And Investopedia says it, right? We have a debt-based economy. And you go then and ask, what is a debt? And as Investopedia says, it's something typically money, right, that we own or due, right, to someone. And in this, with this thinking, we go to the what is the money, and we see that banks issuing debt, and this is a basically creation of money.
Right,
It's
and people like to think it's not volatile because we don't see the change immediately, but it's always there and it's always inflating, and there's all these things going on that we
yeah.
never
But
hear about them.
funny thing is that when you say I need money to pay off my debts, basically it means I need the debt to pay off my debt, and
Yeah.
moving that and connect, and then we think about that. What is the real value of modern world? I mean, where we moving to digital era, right? And basically, everything what we have is digital resources. And then we say our stablecoin, real stablecoin inside digital era should be digital thing, not a fiat currency which based debt some country or some company or whatever it is, or some bank, right?
Okay.
It means our stable coin connected to the cost of digital resources. It's a compute, it's a store of, storage, bandwidth, basic digital thing.
Okay. And who's auditing your resources or the resources back in this coin?
Uh, so this cloud is based on shared resources. And
Okay.
yeah, it means it's people's resources. And when they provide these resources, they physically mint the coin. And this is also a very important moment because thinking about that and talking about right now crypto and consensus itself, right? What we
I'm
have
going to the website right now just so our listeners and our viewers can see the website at the same time that we speak. Okay. So basically, yes, you're saying that you're backed by the cloud and all this cloud storage that you've created. The website is very nice, by the way. I really like the minimalist
on
style.
this page, if you stay for a moment, you see this how it works. Basically, when some company have a task, right, and they say, okay, I need the resources to make this task, then system platform allowing to people provide these resources. And when companies say, okay, this I need these resources, they provide the task, and people based on shared resources, they perform the task. And when someone owner of the task, company or anyone, say, okay, this is a task completed, they paid for this exactly for resources they consume. It and here we're talking about consensus, right? And what we have is proof of work. It's a we solve someone solved some puzzle and find a Bitcoin, right? And okay, this is a coin. Cool. What is a proof of stake, right? In proof of stake, it's who have a money have a right to print money. What is different from current banks? Banks
Exactly. Yeah,
create
and that's one of the biggest criticisms we see with proof of stake, that basically they're acting as a central bank authority themselves.
exactly, and biggest owner of money is print more money. Just imagine we have a business with you, okay? And I do some job for you, and you need to pay me money, but money comes not from you. Basically, because I provide work for you, someone who have a biggest wallet in our system create the money. So it's crazy because, but this starts between you and me, right? So in our case, we have our own concept, and it's a proof of performance. If you perform, you receive money. If you're not, you don't. So, and I don't care who have money. If I do, my job is completed, I perform the job, I should pay, right? And I produce a coin because I'm a
What
performer.
is what is the value of your stable token?
Uh, so it connects to the cost of resources.
Okay.
Because it's connected to the cost of my resources, it gives huge benefit for me. It means I always receive the payment for task I perform. It is not possible that I receive less because your coin goes down, right? And I don't care about external money, I mean fiat. In my country can be huge inflation, but I will receive money according to my contract, which cover all my expenses. So it's huge benefit for that.
Okay.
And for companies, it's also huge benefit because I just imagine I'm a global company, and I forecasting weather. I need to analyze billions of photos from satellite around the world, and every day, and I know how many resources I need to store these images, to make recognition, to make this forecasting, and I have money for next year. This is basically budgeting, right? I have a budget, and my country have a huge inflation. And that's it. In 6 months, I cannot pay for the job anymore. I cannot pay to Amazon, Google, Microsoft, any cloud. But if I can convert my fiat currency to something which connected to digital resources, it means it's enough for me to store these images for whole year. It's enough for calculation, for forecasting, for doing all my business. I, in this way, I disconnect my business from external problems of this world. And in this case, we have no any borders, right? Like any crypto, in same time, I can save my money or I can plan, which really important for companies.
Right. Since we're speaking about decentralized networks and we're speaking about sending money borderlessly, which blockchain are you guys using?
Uh, okay, blockchain is a big subject for discussion because we use our own, and it's based on dynamic DAG, which
Okay.
also you can read in white paper basic things, but general idea it's we have no master chains. It's a chain only between people who in the same contract. So it's because, for example, just imagine again, we have a business with you, right? And for example, in our chain, 10 companies, and we're doing business, why we care about companies, for example, in, I don't know, in Panama or in China, who doing the same business? Why our transaction should depend on them? Why speed of our transaction should depend on them? It's no reason. So it means we care only part of blockchain which belong to us, and this creates a huge speed. We can perform in very high efficient and way because we should not care about everyone. The same like with payment. If I provide doing payment with you, I do not want to store this transaction in everyone blockchain in this world. Why everyone should know about our transaction? It's
Of course,
no.
yes. That's an interesting point because when talking about the blockchain, we talk about privacy a lot, and people seem to make the connection that on the blockchain, on a public network, like yes, you have your own keys, yes, you are verified and you're separated, and maybe it would be difficult for someone to spot who's doing every transaction. But at the same point, there's something to say about everything being on a public network or on a public ledger. Like that's not really that private if we think about it.
Exactly, and it backtraces because if you pay me some currency, I can backtrace this transaction and check till the I mean to the first transaction in blockchain, right? I can read everything and who receive what, and a lot of traders spy on biggest owners of crypto, right? What they're doing, how they doing transaction, where they move money. But okay, we moved from the banks because banks lost their bank kind of bank secret, bank privacy, right? And we moved to blockchain. At the same time, we do not see privacy here as well. And but at the same time, this is why Monero projects trade, right? They say, okay, guys, this is not secure, this is not private. Let's change it. Um, you're absolutely right.
Okay, that since you're speaking about Monero, have you considered like the outlook of being a privacy coin?
Privacy coin is extremely important thing. Uh, Only one thing is in we have a trouble there. A lot of criminals also looking for this tool, right?
Right, and if you're a private company, you don't want to be associated with that kind of practices.
Exactly. So you should be balanced always between possible to audit you and be private. And it's very difficult task. But because of our previous experience, when you creating a private network, when you create the cybersecurity for company, for banks, for government, you're always solving this the same problem. You should create very strong network, very secure and very private. In the same time, company should control what's going on inside. So it means if your bank use a blockchain in Hypersphere and doing transactions in own blockchain, they can check everything, but they cannot do the same in different banks. It means if this bank can be auditable, and in the same time, it's absolutely private from external world. So it's very important issue for just a private coin, which make it, I don't know, fly by the night, right?
Okay, okay, good. So we've touched on a couple of very interesting points about your projects. Basically, when we started this show, the COINsistent Show, you can probably see this on your screen now. I'm also looking at it. We started based on what we call the COINsistent values, which is a set of values that we consider the most important for a currency to be successful and to be impactful in the crypto environment. And we've talked about like close. We talk about like consistency in price and value. And well, in your case, like it's pretty interesting how you're handling volatility and how you're handling internal payments. We talk about security, auditings, and the solidity of the assets backing these. With I imagine most of our audience, and including myself, to be quite honest, are not very familiar with the costs and with the and with how the inner workings of computing processing work. So just like on layman terms, on like very explain, if you can explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old, how do you determine the value of computing power?
It's pretty easy. Just imagine we are want to be in a uh, competitive world, and we want to compete with Amazon. We want to compete with AWS. We want to compete with Google Cloud. We want to compete with Microsoft Cloud. In this case, we have top tiers of global clouds. They provide resources, right? A lot of services about it, but in general, on the layer of infrastructure, like infrastructure as a service, they provide resources. It means if you able to provide the same level of quality and the same uptime, the same ratio, you should receive the same payment. In the same time, yeah, at home, in your company, you have some unused resources. And a lot of projects who say, okay, there is a big problem in this world. We have tons of unused capacity of computer resources, which is true. Let's use it. And but you say exactly what is my price, and there we say if you can provide the same level as AWS, you can compete with AWS, and you should receive the same price. If you can't, and you provide lower layers, so just imagine the tier one. Then you say, okay, I have my own data center and I want to provide resources, but I have only one location. So you tier two. Tier two, you need to put prices a little bit below and compete with them on your level. But if you have a gaming computer or some mining farm at your home, you cannot compete with data center really. Then you are tier three, and you're trying to reach that layer, but you decrease your price.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's really competition, and you
Right.
define.
You're creating a free market within, based on your token, based on the reward of your token. And well, as you say, like that kind of helps the project regulate itself, right? Like no one's gonna charge more than, or I mean, no one's gonna charge less than what's profitable for them to charge. Like people are not trying to drive themselves bankrupt.
Yeah, yes, it's extremely important.
Okay, good. Okay, so having touched on that, and since we're nearing 40 minutes of interview, what can you tell us about your brand and your marketing? Because we see this commonly in crypto space. We see very technical projects, some of them very good ones, and then, well, you know, like since you're familiar with the startup world and with Silicon Valley, like a good rule of thumb that you guys and angel investors have is that usually like you need to have a figure that's like the building figure, like the person with the strong technical background, the person with the good building skills and computing skills. And on the other hand, you kind of always need a figure that's good on marketing, on branding, that can help be build the excitement around your project. So what can you tell us about that side of Hypersphere?
Um, it will be really easy answer. We concentrate on use cases. We concentrate on projects which require privacy and security, which they want to use. They cannot afford to use the public clouds because privacy. And we start working with them, and we talking from the beginning what they need, what is the biggest problem, and how we can solve it. It means we create a queue with companies and projects who willing to use Hypersphere. And in this case, very easy to attract resource providers because we have big demand behind us.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. So anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up our interview?
No, I think it's pretty.
I feel like we touched on a bunch of interesting topics and a bunch of like very interesting sides of your project. As always, for the guys that are watching this on YouTube, the Hypersphere paper is on their website. It's just here below. You can click read white paper and it sends you directly to the white paper. It's quite long. It's 92 pages. So it's good that you have like this video for a quick reference. And of course, if you're more interested in the more technical sides of the project that are I'm probably not very qualified to talk about, you can do so here on the white paper. Um, what can you tell us about your team before we finish?
I would say we really trying to combine the best people we touch because very easy to have a strong technical team, but in same time we exactly, you open this page with Richard Williams, which a great inventor. He have about 400 patents in US. So he is inventor of flash camera in your phone, and he is inventor of airbags in the Mercedes, and yeah, so he have tons of great invention, and he is member of Hall of Fame of IEEE Institute. So it's a brilliant person, and this only one more person from our team. We have a really brilliant guys who want to change this world, who want to bring privacy and security to give it to the people, to the company. I can speak very long about our team, but in general, is all geniuses. I
Right.
think so.
Here we see that he like experience with Motorola, with Apple, like quite a strong names in the industry.
Yes,
Okay, that's I think for this recording we're good for wrapping up right now. Thank you very much for your time for being here in the COINsistent Show, and yes, I hope you guys have enjoyed having Eugene as our guest.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Carol.
Anything else you'd like to say to our audience? Like any special announcements?
Uh, I'm not sure that uh, I want to make announcement about our projects. What I want is more inspire to make something important, create something important, and I think inventions can change the world. And if you see the great thing and you can join it and help someone to build something new or something amazing, you should do this. So all what I want to share is my inspiration.
All right. That's a great finish to this recording. As always, guys, if you want to learn more about Hypersphere, you can go to their website, is hypersphere.ai. You can see their white paper. And of course, you can join their communities on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook. I see you guys have quite some interesting content out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Please rejoin, of course.
So thank you very much, and we'll speak to you next time.
Okay, see you, Carlos.